Are you going to play WoW Midnight and want to heal but don't really know which healing spec to choose? Well, this video is for you. WoW has a lot of classes and specs, and I made a tank video recently just talking about the tanks in Midnight, and there was a lot of specs there. Healing has 7 specs to choose from, and I'm going to go through all of them here today with you to help you decide which one you want to play Midnight. The first spec and class I'm going to talk to you about is Restoration Druid. Restoration Druid is WoW's Heal of Time healer, which on the Midnight beta currently feels incredibly fluid to play. You apply heals over time instead of direct heals, and can deal damage when not required to apply the heals over time. The spec also has a lot of utility like Cyclone, Roots, the big utility buff it has, Mark of the Wild, which is the best utility buff in the game. It's just really fun to play, and if you like Druids and natural class fantasy, it's the one for you. Now there are 2 hero talent trees to choose from when picking Restoration Druid. The first one is Keeper of the Grove, which allows you to spawn treants that help you heal. They're pretty passive, and the amount they heal is pretty big, but if you don't like passive healing classes, maybe you should try this next hero talent tree, which is Wildstalker. And Wildstalker is the Druid hero spec that allows you to feral weave when you have downtime. Feral weaving is turning into cat form and dealing damage when you don't need to put the heals over time on the target. If any of that sounds great for you, then you found your healer already. Good job. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If not, move on to the next one. Now we're going to talk about Restoration Shaman. Again, Restoration, right? This is WoW's resident water elemental healing spec. You use water and lightning to heal your allies and deal damage to your enemies. Restoration Shaman is pretty contentious right now because during the pruning of Midnight, it's kind of had most of its iconic abilities taken away. But if you've never played the game before, then you won't notice that, and you'll probably have fun. Restoration Shaman is the only healer that has kept their interrupt, since healers have had their interrupt removed in Midnight. The 2 heroic talent trees you can pick for Restoration Shaman are Totemic, which works through firing off chain heals and having them bounce off of your totems and then onto your allies. It's kind of like playing a little bit of ping pong. The second one is Farseer, which will summon ghosts when you cast spells, and these ghosts will cast a heal on your target. Pretty simple. It doesn't feel too bad to play, but I can see why it is the worst one when I was playing it. If it sounds good to you though, go ahead and play it, because it's all about what you feel comfortable playing and what you want to enjoy. Now let's move on to the next one. The next spec we're going to talk about is Holy Paladin. Holy Paladin is your resident, part-time melee healer. You weave in and out of melee range, you deal damage, and you'll heal your allies from both ranged and close quarters. You apply beacons onto your allies, which make it so that if you heal somebody else, they will also get healing, or if you heal yourself, they will also get healing. And there are 2 heroic talent trees to choose from. The first one is Herald of the Sun, which, when you cast Holy Prism or Barrier of Faith on your target will gain a buff. This buff heals them, and those around them. Excuse me. If you cast it on an enemy, then it will deal damage and then damage to those around them. This feels pretty nice. You feel like you're healing tons over time to everyone. The second hero talent tree is Lightsmith, and this works around putting many buffs on your allies, like Holy Bulwark. One is more of a, I'm going to shield you and give support. The other one is more of a, I'm here to heal you and deal damage. But if Holy Paladin seems right for you, I'm glad I could help. Let's move on to the next one. Mistweaver Monk is the most complicated healing spec in the game, in my opinion at least. Just like how Brewmaster is the most complicated tanking spec, and I went over that in my tanking video. Mistweaver Monk is kind of a melee healer with an open sandbox to curate your own playstyle, but if you don't curate your own playstyle well enough to get into the flow of things, you're gonna suck real bad. It's a tough one. It involves a lot of math, a lot of numbers, and a lot of min-maxing, but I've heard from a lot of people who heal that once you heal as a Mistweaver Monk, it's very hard to look at any other healer the same. Because when you're playing them and getting into the flow of things, very, very different, and the others just don't have that level of complexity to them. As always, Mistweaver Monk has 2 heroic talent trees. One is Conduit of the Celestials, which you gain access to the Celestial Conduit, which allows you to channel an ability whilst moving, and summon the August Celestials to help you, which goes really well with the Monk fantasy, because the August Celestials are big in Monk mythology and WoW. The second heroic talent tree is Master of Harmony, which is more basic. It turns you into a healing berry. But you do need to remember a lot of numbers, using this spec and tracking a lot of things. So if you like maps and doing taxes, this spec is probably for you. Let's move on to the next one. Did you guys know that 98% of you guys aren't subscribed? You guys should subscribe now. This next one to me is one where we're going to have a lot to talk about. Preservation Evoker to me is the strongest healer in the current build of Midnight Bear. It could change when it comes to live, but right now, Preservation Evoker is insanely strong. Preservation Evoker is the most modern healing class and offers a wide range of mobility. It offers the only charge-up healing skills in the game, and it offers a lot of utility. With how much is in the spec, you're never ever going to have downtime and will always be busy pressing buttons during the course of the fight. As with the others, it has 2 hero talent trees. The first one is Chrono Warden, which goes from the Bronze Dragon spec fantasy. You manipulate time and apply Chrono Flames to the ally, which heals big. You get additional mobility with this tree, and you basically heal them with damage they just took. Like, you put an ability on them, and when they take damage before it, it heals that damage back over a certain amount of time. It's really fun to play and really strong. The second hero talent tree is Flame Shaper, which goes through the Red Dragon aspect spec fantasy. So if you like Alex Straza, this one's probably for you. You breathe fire, and you heal your allies. It's that simple. It feels really, really strong. But so does all of Preservation Evoker. But if you're not ready for that high impact modern style of player, you should perhaps try the next spec I'm going to talk about. The next one is Holy Priest, the simplest healer in the game. Just like a warrior when tanking or a warrior when doing damage, this is the healer. You heal. It's that simple. It's the bread and butter of healing. You stand back and you do your healing, and that's your job. You also have Fortitude, which is a buff of stamina, but that's what it is. The 2 hero talent trees for Holy Priest are Oracle, which buffs your Prayer of Mending and the charges it has on allies. It also bounces an AoE heal between those allies. And Archon, which is based around the iconic Priest ability Halo, and makes Halo pulse it pulses whilst you're healing. This spec has yoinked Halo from the class tree. You can't get Halo as a priest unless you pick the Archon hero talent tree. So it's yoinked it. This is your standard healing spec. If you're stepping in for the first time, maybe try this one. The final spec I want to talk about is Discipline Priest, and Discipline Priest is the other priest healing spec. It's very good in PvP, because it kind of just feels like playing a DPS. You apply shields to your allies, which gives them Attunement, and Attunement allows you to deal damage and heal your allies whilst dealing damage. It has 2 hero talent trees. The first one is Oracle. Oracle buffs your shields and the damage you deal. and then Void Weaver, which is way more DPS oriented than Oracle. You deal big damage through Void Rift, and you heal your allies whilst it's dealing damage. Discipline pretty simple. Apply shields, do damage. And it's the only spec where you can really say, I'm sorry guys, we kind of wiped there because I wasn't dealing enough damage. Can't say that with any other spec. Unless you're a DPS. But I guess you kind of are if you're playing Disc Priest. But with that being said, like if you don't deal enough damage, you're going to wipe. If you don't apply the shields at the right time, you're going to wipe. So you kind of need to put some thought into it. Now, I'll give some final thoughts and advice before I end the video. Pick the healer that sounds the most appealing to you. It doesn't matter if I feel that Preservation of Evoker is the strongest, because you may like the idea of Mistweaver Monk a lot more. Pick the one you like, learn it, and take your time. But be prepared for all the trolls who blame healers for everything. With that being said, good luck in picking your healer for midnight. If you're thinking about tanking, please check out my tank video here, and maybe check out my most recent stream. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.